All right. I'm super excited that you guys are joining us. So balancing hormones and belly fat. I think one of those words, both of those words is definitely what was like dangling that carrot and getting you guys to come in, because I feel like understanding the role that food plays, fitness, habits, our thoughts can impact our hormones and our changes. And I want us to feel empowered. I want us to feel so empowered and also know that we're such beautiful creatures. We are beautiful. We have what it takes, and we can navigate through these hormonal changes. So I'm Christine Van Diest. I'm so grateful that you are here. I'm a mother of four, 24-year-old down to 15, and I'm 51 years old. So I'm in menopause. So I definitely have been understanding the role of perimenopause, menopause, all those hormonal changes. And Shawna, I want to have you introduce yourself.
All right, my name is Shawna Linstead. I live up here in Fort Collins. I have three kids. I have a 21-year-old, 18, and a 15-year-old. I teach high school life skill classes here in town and have a Shackley business, and also probably in my 5th year of menopause. So it's good times here. Turned 50 this year, and I have been learning a ton about hormones and all of this kind of stuff. So I'm super excited to share some of this stuff and help people find some relief and to feel their best. So thanks for leading the way, Christine.
Awesome. So glad that everybody's here. Well, we will get started. So I know I wrote a ton on my screen. See if I can see all this. Let's see. Oops, sorry. Let me go back. Okay. So honestly, as our bodies change, and I said beautiful bodies, our hormones are shifting. And so even in this time of life, depending on where we're at in the 30s and beyond, we're kind of hitting some different life stressors. Maybe it's just where our kids are at. We have aging parents. We have maybe financial stress. We have a lot of stuff going on. And on top of that, dietary habits. So we can't keep eating like we did in our 30s, right? So there's changes that are happening. I actually had a conversation with a gal, she's 49, and she said, I was skinny my entire life, and all of a sudden I'm eating the same, and now I don't have energy, I have belly fat, I've never done any kind of strength training. And she said, my elbow, I feel like I broke a bone in my elbow, my kneecap, and just realizing my body is changing and shifting. So with the accumulation of what we eat, toxins, all these things contribute to catch up into these hormonal balances, imbalances, and changes in our lives. And so I think we get annoyed, we get frustrated, we get discouraged, our metabolism is slowing, we kind of feel that tie around our belly, and it's really hard. And just knowing what's going on, knowledge is so important. So even as we're aging, our progesterone, our estrogen levels are changing, lowering. And we might be, and I'll talk about the estrogen dominance, even if our estrogen's not high, it's still higher than our progesterone. And so with that and our dietary habits, our bodies don't really handle refined sugar like it did. And so if our liver is really sluggish, our sugar just does not get taxied to the right places. And so we become really more insensitized, just losing our sensitivity to insulin. So that just really impacts our metabolism. And then with every decade, we're losing muscle mass. And remember, muscle revs our metabolism. And again, going back to the life stresses, we probably are depleted in our B vitamins, and we choose more carb choices to kind of give us that energy. And all in all, we just find ourselves gaining weight and not having the body composition or the energy or just being able to do the things like we used to. So I pause and just say, we need to ask ourselves, like my friend I shared with the other night, are we eating enough? Are we eating enough protein? Maybe we don't even know what to eat now because our bodies are changing and shifting. Maybe we've been restricting too many calories and putting our bodies in a little bit of an alarm, and we're snacking and not really eating full meals. So there's so much that can be going on right here. And Shawna, why don't you read this one, if you can, the top.
Okay, yes, it says optimizing our gut health is key to keeping hormones in balance. So the gut contains 40 trillion friendly bacteria, and in the microbiome, which influences our health, these types of things occur. So Our hormones and neurotransmitters, our appetite, all of these things are regulated by the gut. 90% of our hormone serotonin, the feeling of well-being and productive, impacts your entire body, is produced in your gut bacteria. The gut-brain connection, and we've heard this is very, very finally, it's trending to have people understand this, which is so great. It helps us overcome anxiety and depression. And then 80% of immune cells actually reside in our microbiome, our gut. And so if you are battling health issues related to immunity, so many different things, starting with the gut, that's kind of the foundational piece, especially as we work with clients in this wellness business. That's one of my very first things is we talk a little bit about what's going on in your gut, because it's so foundational in terms of the way your body's connecting in every way, really. And then it helps regulate estrogen levels in the body. Estrobiome resides in the microbiome to make estrogen stay in balance. So you can see the relation here with your gut health to hormone balance. Like it is, they go hand in hand, and really, really key to be able to get your gut to a healthy state. So that's one of the very first places that we definitely would start.
Yeah. And I love this picture, because I think many of us have gone, if we're in any of the hormone changes, the hot flashes and things like that. So symptoms, our body's telling us something's going on. There are changes. So whether there's weight loss resistance, fatigue, bloating, digestive distress, low libido, anxiety, depression, difficulty sleeping, we're not getting really good, thorough night sleeps, hot flashes, vaginal dryness, irritability, and then all the mental, the brain fog, and the lack of focus. And so I think so many of us can relate in this. And I feel like I'm like you, Shawna, we're probably more on the end of that. We don't have as many of the hot flashes like we did, but just it's happening. Our progesterone is dropping. We no longer having to worry about the babies, and our bodies are not needing that anymore. And so that drops first in any of the hormonal changes, when basically the ovaries are like, okay, we're closing up shop, we're done. And so it's a natural process, but it leaves our estrogen more unopposed and dominant. And so that can tend to lead to migraines, menstrual flooding, mood issues, belly fat, anxiety, body changes. And that's where we start feeling really frustrated, and the chaotic part comes in. And so again, like what Shawna's saying, is when the gut is not healthy, meaning the dietary choices that we have worked through, or the extra estrogen-like, mimic estrogen-like hormones that have come from skincare products to toxins to anything else, our livers are overburdened. Truly, it's overtaxed, and we don't really flush out what needs to be flushed out. And so that the extra estrogen is just constantly reabsorbed into the bloodstream. And then too much of that causes a lot of the hormonal imbalances. And so Shawna and I, and in our wellness business, one of the things we love is helping people just really reset and get a good cleanse and a good, just taking stock to gut health. And taking care of your liver is a big deal. I don't think I realized this until later on, that it's truly your body's filtration system to cycle out excess hormones and toxins. And as we age, if we haven't taken care of what we've eaten and just balancing the products that we've used in our home, on our skin, you name it, it really does make our liver work too hard. So this cleanse, and some of you might have heard of the 7-day cleanse, some that are on this might not have, but these are the 4 selected supplements that truly, really give our cleanse a good reset. Liver detox. So it's like some of you have heard of the milk thistle, the reishi mushroom product, that in just the bile flow that increases to help detoxify. Herblax, the gentle cleanser. Probiotic, again, what Shawna said is that getting a pre-probiotic that really does get some good intestinal health and balance is so key. And then alfalfa, just a really good mineral that truly helps alkalize the body, and just changing the pH level and really helping to cleanse the body. So this is something that we really know when we've taken people through a 7-day cleanse, they feel so good because of these selected supplements that really help them get a reset. I'll talk about this and have Shawna pipe in too, but when we talk about our changes, sometimes it's understanding now, like my girlfriend, I don't know what to eat. I don't know and understand about what foods I should be focusing on. And I would say most women, we don't eat enough protein. if I was to take someone, any given woman, and ask, what you eat during a day, if you could write your food log down for me, just for me to get an idea. Most of us don't eat enough protein, and that, we'll talk in a minute, is so key in really helping to balance our hormones. So the macronutrients, the main protein, carbs, and fats, they do affect our body. And as we age, our body just does things differently with them. Some of us become a little bit more resistant to breaking down carbs like we used to. Maybe we don't eat enough fats in our body. Our hormones need healthy fats. Some of our vitamins need fats to deliver the nutrients. So this is a free app, MyFitnessPal, which really helps me track. I don't love to track. I had an eating disorder in college, so being super obsessive about food is not my go-to. But if I get stuck, I might have a couple of days where like, golly, why am I not seeing changes that I want? And then I realize, oh, I'm not eating enough calories in the day. I'm not eating enough protein. So this to me is a good snapshot, something that I'm not tied to, obsessed about, but a good snapshot to see where I'm at as far as dietary habits are concerned. Shawna, do you want to lead this next one?
Yeah. So how to eat for a healthy gut. Again, they used to say you are what you eat, but honestly, we really are what our digestion system can absorb. So your lower intestine is the small intestine is where all of this really good bacteria lies. And as we age, the little villi or villi, however you say that, little hairs along the gut lining either get broken down just by age in general, or because of lots of medications or toxic living or all kinds of things kind of break that down. So when you're just born, your gut lining is amazing, absorbs, unless obviously there's been some sort of trauma during pregnancy or whatever, but really, really important to keep that gut lining healthy and to avoid some of those things that really break it down. So we really try to help people and myself, and it's hard. I mean, there are a lot of really yummy things out there that aren't so great for our bodies. But again, if you're having a gut that's not healthy, even if you're trying to eat really, really good things, your body's not going to absorb the nutrients from it. So that one slide earlier that you can go back if we have a recording for you and look at some of those, those products. Those are really designed to bring relief and healing to our gut lining. So that's our foundational piece there. So when we're eating if you feel like you're at a good stage with your gut, then you're going to eat for your hormones, supporting your body with plenty of protein every meal, healthy fats. If you can kind of think that through every time you put a meal into your mouth or something that you're eating, you want to make sure it has the protein and the healthy fats. The fats serve as the building blocks for our hormones, so it's really important. You eat a high diet in omega-3 healthy added fats and magnesiums, helps with hormonal balance, these kinds of things. You want to avoid a diet that's high in inflammatory foods, too much dairy, again, depending if you can process that. Wheat, again, depends on the kind of wheat you're eating and if you have maybe an allergy to that. Certain meats or animal sources can be more high inflammatory, again, where they're sourced and how they're cooked is a big deal. Sugars, one of the main ones. Alcohol breaks down into sugars. So I think those two are one of the main problems, especially in our culture. It's very cool to drink alcohol. I mean, everywhere we look, it's kind of trendy. And I think that's unfortunate. I definitely all about having a glass of good wine and a cocktail here and there, but an excessive amount or a chronic issues you're having with your gut and you drink alcohol regularly are definitely go hand in hand with that. So it's always surprising, like Christine said, when we start tracking our foods. I'm not a big fan of tracking either. I think it can set people into maybe too much rigidity or obsessiveness with this. But if you can do it for a week and just get a picture, like she said, of what's going on and what you're eating, you'll be shocked how much sugar is in things. When you start reading labels, it's shocking. I talk with high school students all the time. We do label lesson and they actually are shocked about the kind of sugar that's in a lot of the regular products that seem sort of healthy. So be sure to look into that. And there's all these different aliases for sugar. So watch for that for sure. that's where at this stage of our life, stubborn weight can really kind of leech on and stick here when it comes to the sugar intake. So
thanks, Shawna. I totally agree. And when I write this avoid, I'm just thinking, I love the word chronic, because if there are issues going on and a lot of immune issues and immune responses, our bodies and inflammation, it's just moderation. It's choosing things and not choosing certain things so I can feel my best. So yes, the occasional, I'm going to indulge in some dessert, I'm going to indulge in some alcohol. That is great. But I think sometimes we have chronic levels of a lot of sugar, and that's where it leads to some really diseases and a lot of changes in our bodies we don't really want. This is a really interesting study about even just sugar and refined sugar and what it does for our hormones. There was a recent study of mice on a plant-based diet. So think about plant-based diet, rich in isoflavones, more good bacteria to help regulate the GI tract, the immune function. But when these mice when they were switched their diet to high in refined sugars, they developed bad bacteria like E. coli and Salmonella. So it was very interesting just in the study that they did. What did plant-based diet do for these mice? What did basically a Western diet overall of refined sugars, things like that, what was present in the body? So it was really interesting. And so we do have hormones that affect our weight. And so when we have excess sugar, chronic sugar, when we had a diet with, and I think like what Shawna said, we're surprised when we really look and go, so much of packaged goods and processed foods. If we're always eating out, always eating processed, having a lot of alcohol, a lot of other toxic like substances in our home, a lot of sugar, there's a lot that our gut is not able to keep up, nor our liver. And so there's a lot of things that will happen. Early onset of diabetes, obesity, to other things going on in our body. So the two hormones that affect weight. So think of leptin, that's that fullness. I feel full, the satiety. This is produced by fat cells in the gut, and it's to reduce the appetite. So it tells your brain that you're full. But when that, as well as the ghrelin, the hunger, I always think of gremlin. So produce in the stomach after a meal to produce the satiety, it increases our appetite. So when we have a lot of high insulin levels, it throws off these signals. So truly, we don't really know if we're hungry or not, or if we're full. So that's where, when we look at how sugar affects the hormones, the insulin, this is just what's going on in our body. The pancreas produces that hormone, helps to manage the blood sugar levels. But if we eat way too much sugar, and I'm talking in all forms, that sugary drink, the excess sugar in that packaged good, and we don't have it balanced with fiber or healthy fats or protein, our body then can become resistant to the signals of insulin. So we just don't really know when we're hungry or not. Those signals are off. And so that leads to weight gain, hormone imbalance, and it really prevents our stored fat from being broken down. So again, we want to have that protein at every meal, avoiding those excess sugars, especially the high fructose corn syrup, sweetened drinks that kind of, really creep up on us, so that we don't get the weight gain that we are wanting to avoid. Shawna, do you want to do this one on stress?
Yeah, of course. So stress is probably one of the main precursors to disease, for sure, in our culture. I think we all are in some form of stress every day. It can be good stress or bad stress. I mean, you wake up and stub your toe on the door jamb walking out of the bathroom, your body goes into stress mode. So every time we kind of face some sort of stress, it's absolutely directly impacted to our gut health. Again, right away, your gut's responding to that. And so when we're under stress, consistent stress, and we've all been through that, whether we're going through difficult times, I mean, we went through a pandemic, we're still definitely in the ends of that. There's always a sense of stress, the last probably 2 or 3 years for all of us. There's going to be this underlying sense of stress every day. And so if that's something that we can identify and say, yeah, I'm actually chronically stressed out, whether it's a small amount or a big amount of stress, just know that when we're under stress, we burn less fat. So again, at this stage of our lives, when things are shifting in our hormones and our processes, we're going to see that result even more when the stress is involved. So Cortisol is one of the main cursors here. It's the stress hormone. It's produced by the adrenal glands from fight or flight. Too much of it can cause fatigue and weight gain, throw off hormones levels, and lead to inflammatory conditions like chronic fatigue syndrome, very common these days. And then adrenals get depleted by stress and poor nutrition. So if you're stressed, usually you're probably not eating as well because things are stressful or whatever. And those two combination can also kind of drain those adrenals. So you all have heard that before. When your brain perceives a threat in the form of endless to-do lists, well, we've all got that. That cortisol kind of shoots up and sends this message to your body to prep for an attack, and then it slows everything down. So avoid fasting, very low calorie diets. When you think that's going to be a better way to lose the weight, but you're under chronic stress, what it's going to happen is it's just going to actually conserve energy. It's going to pull weight in because that fight or flight is there thinking, oh, I'm not going to get food pretty soon, so I'm going to store fat. So that next thing, I think, maybe it's next. No, we'll do the hormones and then we'll talk a little bit about why breakfast is so important. But go ahead, Christine.
Oh yeah, thanks. And we just briefly touching on this, like sometimes we don't realize the exposure to toxins. That's all the xenoestrogens, the estrogen-like substances that are in just kind of commercial or any kind of chemical-like products. I think of like home, household, skincare, anything I'm putting on in my skin. And so they mimic the hormones and it interferes with the hormone function. So our bodies were not equipped to handle all these different chemicals that are just being exposed as well as absorbed. And it really does affect developmental, reproductive, brain, immune, and other problems. So again, our liver is working way overtime to filter these out. So always for us, we're in this wellness company. We love the non-toxic cleaners, and it really does make a difference. So if you haven't tried them, maybe you don't even know what this is, definitely reach out because we could talk for an hour on those by themselves. They're really, really, really good. And so, I'll lead into this, and then Shawna, I'll pass it on to you. This is Val, my friend, and it's really cool. I met her, we talked a couple of years ago, and for her, she was right at the age of menopause, 49, 50, just super frustrated and realizing, I guess I'm just going to be wearing baggy shirts and not feel good about, where I'm at in my body composition and what I feel. So she really was dialing in a lot of what we're talking about: diet, lifestyle, exercise, lowering stress, eating more protein. For her, it was the Prove It Challenge, which we'll talk about. And it really jump-started her into like, I can do this. I have more energy. I feel good. And it was literally just some simple changes that got her motivated and going again. So it is possible at any age. And Shawna, I love the focus on this one. So why don't you take this one off?
Yeah, I think this is pretty common, even among the high schoolers that I work with. I ask all the time. I'm always checking with kids to see what their nutrition inputs are like. And I cannot tell you how many of them skip breakfast. And if that's a habit that's being formed at a young age, I think that's going to be kind of really easy to go to. And people think that when we skip breakfast, that means I'm going to be less calories. But what happens really is your body's like in that fight or flight, like, breakfast, if you break it down, is you're breaking a fast. So you've been sleeping all night long, hopefully, and your body is, unless you have hot flashes, and then your body is trying to process and heal and regroup for the next morning. You wake up and it needs nutrition. It needs help to get energy moving, to help stabilize that metabolism, to balance your blood sugar. So if we're skipping breakfast, then we are actually just stepping into chaos for your body, because your body's going to then hold on to fat, even though, there's been studies that they'll say people who will actually eat fewer calories in a day by skipping breakfast, but they are the ones that have higher body mass. Their body's in stress mode, trying to make sure there's enough energy to conserve for when they eventually get food, so it actually holds on to fat. So again, you don't want to eat breakfast. We just came back from a couple days of camping, and I bought some Reese's Puffs. It's one of my kids' favorites, and that's what they ate every morning. So obviously that kind of breakfast is a no. Occasionally, yes, they are really yummy. But you want a breakfast that's really high quality nutrition and has all of these little parts, which we'll talk to here in a second.
Yeah, I think protein, you're right. I love this. So even the foundation for a really good, like for protein, whether I tell my kids it's eggs, it's, sausage, it's, protein with oats, or it's a shake. Honestly, probably 5 days out of 7, I have this meal replacement shake. I love the grams of protein, vitamins, minerals, fiber, just full spectrum of 9 essential amino acids that my body needs, the building blocks to this protein to make enzymes, hormones, other body chemicals. It's a building block. So it really does help stabilize blood sugar and improves my mood. Interesting. I came back from a workout and I had a crazy morning yesterday, and I came back and there were some things that Steve and I were talking about that stressed me out, and I could just feel myself, my mood and everything just plummeting. The stress was taking over. My body was in stress mode, and I literally ate half an avocado, some watermelon for some quick energy, made myself another shake, took some B vitamins, and I started to feel my body just recover and replenish, and just basically my mood was lifted and feel like I could just kind of handle the rest of the day. So even understanding the tools to know what to do is so helpful. This is like a green protein smoothie. And what I love about it is like understanding proteins, healthy fat, fiber. So PHFF. I can think about like a protein recovery shake. What am I putting in for protein? We love our protein, the Life Shake protein, for what the profile is. It's so good. But then healthy fats, almond butter, coconut oil, chia seeds, quarter avocado, some of that fruit that's also kind of the, polyphenols, the antioxidants, even just depending on the skin and the greens, I'm getting some fiber as well. Or I can do frozen cauliflower rice or rice cauliflower. So even it's just, again, seeing that even in this one shake, truly the essentials of the protein with my muscles, energy, metabolism, blood sugar, the fiber, supporting healthy digestion, gut bacteria, getting rid of the excess toxins, and just also really helping out my body, just kind of like eliminating. And then the fats, building blocks of hormones. I need that for my body, combating inflammation, feeling full longer. And next one, Shawna.
Yeah. Women of all ages and managing stress. It doesn't matter. We can go back to whatever age, 20s, 30s, 40s, and recall times of stress. But these are just some great list of just some ideas of how to keep stress at bay or help to manage it, because I wish we could just have it go away and do this little formula, but that's just not the way it works. Life is full of all kinds of interruptions and opportunities for us to grow. And so here's a few ways to manage stress. Get 7 to 8 hours of sleep a night. Identify stressors in your life. I don't know if that means where you're able to journal, find some meditative ways to deal with that. I have a gratitude list. I get out every single morning. I get up, I go outside if the weather permits, and I sit there. I sit there for 10 minutes before I do anything and just take a look around, deeply breathe. The sun is in my eyes. It's kind of grounding. There's some really, really powerful processes that are happening just from that. And then writing a few things on my gratitude list. Takes me maybe 10, 15 minutes. You could do for 5 minutes, just a few little ideas of how to manage stress to start the day. Schedule personal relaxation times, get good nutrition, exercising regularly. Some of us are maybe not huge fans of exercise. I have a friend who just hates it, like loathes it no matter what she tries. She just hates it. And that's okay. So it doesn't have to look like, 50 minutes of cardio every day, but what if you got out and took a walk and started easing it? It's something regular that you can start doing. And especially with some sort of resistance training, with our changing bodies, that's one of the key things they're saying now. So it doesn't have to look a certain thing you think some expectation you have, but something where you're moving and lifting some sort of heavy weights. And then botanical support. There's all kinds of like natural ways you can find some stress. We've got a really great product called Stress Relief Complex that has helped my kids, myself, my husband, so many clients that I've worked with, that just helps kind of take the edge off and helps us move into that. So let us know if you have questions about that particular product for sure. Mm-hmm. And that next slide, similar things, de-stress, some more ideas, get great sleep. Sleep's really, really important. I don't know if you've done too much research on sleep, but it's actually when our body and our brain heals. Your sympathetic nervous system finally chills out. It's your time. That's the one that controls our flight or fight, all these hormones. It's your that's when that system actually gets to relax. Your brain is healing when you sleep. There's so many valuable things that happen when we're sleeping. And so prioritizing sleep, even, that's typically some of the things I do first with the client as well. We talk about gut health and sleep. Sleep's a big deal these days. People are taking all sorts of things to try to get sleep, whether it's more alcohol or marijuana products or anything. They're trying everything to get that good sleep that people are really longing for because it's so valuable. So we've also got some great products for that are natural with no side effects, that kind of stuff. And then we, of course, diet, reduce sugar, and all of these kinds of things, diet related, is going to kind of vary with each person, but generally as we age, not eating after 7 p.m., especially sugar kind of laden types of foods, that's kind of a good start if you're kind of holding on to some belly fat and that kind of stuff. So.
Great, Shawna, thanks. I love Katie's story. So she was a gal that we know, trouble losing baby weight. And so GLA, gamma-linolenic acid, and omega was helpful in balancing hormones. And that's something that I used as well during my cycles. It's something that my teenage daughter used as well for cycles. And I remember, Shawna, you telling me about this years ago was very, very helpful. But also I became more mindful of what I was eating, more mindful of inflammatory foods. And so what I loved about when we've helped clients through the 7-day cleanse is when you reintroduce some of those foods, just taking notes, even having a journal and a pen and paper and saying, okay, when I just ate that again, what do I feel? Is there migraines or bloating, or do I feel lethargic, lacking energy, even inflammation? Are my rings tight? Whatever, that you're realizing what foods trigger in your system. And so even for Katie's story of how she, was able to find and lose that baby weight, balancing blood sugar with the Live Shake, the protein meal replacement shake. And then also stress relief, what Shawna mentioned, just blooding the cortisol response, super important, and that she found that was helpful. And some of the other things that we mentioned, magnesium as well. This is my friend, Lorraine. I met her through her son. And when I met her, she had never really done strength training. And that's something that, Shawna mentioned, but as we age, every decade for sure, we're losing muscle mass, mainly because we're not utilizing it. We're not doing some strength training or resistance training, and muscle is our metabolic currency. Muscle revs our metabolism. So if we have never really had a regimen of doing some strength training, resistance training, that's something honestly what we need to start, because it really is the longevity organ and it's our best bone protector. So as our estrogen falls, our muscle retention is harder. So we literally have to work harder at it. And with my friend Lorraine, we just met for 8 weeks. I saw her twice a week. We started doing, just where she was at, we started lifting weights. She became stronger. She lost some weight. it just changed her body composition. And biggest thing is she just believed in herself. She gained confidence. It was so exciting. And then she started with the Prove It Challenge, which was the cleanse, 7-day cleanse, canister, 2 canisters of the protein and the personalized vitamins for where she was at. And literally at day 100, when I first saw her, 100 days later, she signed up for a 5K, and then she's done a couple more since. But it was so encouraging for her to build the confidence and belief and start feeling younger again in her age. Now, some people understand the value of supplementation. Some people might still wonder, is it needed? But most imbalances in our bodies are from nutritional deficiencies. So if we're not getting enough nutrients for the body to make hormones, then we're not producing enough hormones. And so understandably, we're not getting it all from our food intake, our diet. And even my kids are like, Mom, you eat perfectly. I'm like, no, I don't eat perfectly. I try to eat balanced, but I certainly don't eat perfectly. So even for me, I see the value of supplementation so that I can fill in the gaps. B complex to me is probably one of my favorite ones. Literally turns mothers into Mother Teresa's happy pill. It really helps with our brain and nervous system. And honestly, when our stress hits, our B's get depleted. And then B's is what basically it converts food into energy. So we're lacking energy. So what do? We find some kind of quick sugar fix to get more energy. So we definitely, if we feel like we're low on energy and we're carb craving, all that kind of stuff, yeah, dry skin, cravings, we need some B's. Our B's are depleted. And then GLA, I already mentioned, is really helpful. And then Omega Guard and Omegas, truly for providing nutrients for our hormones, because when we have estrogen dominance, it causes inflammation, and Omegas help reduce inflammation. Shackley, or Shawna, can you take this one?
Yeah, we have been talking quite a few products, and for those of you who maybe are new here or don't know much about Shackley, just a little blurb here about this amazing company. If you value quality and safety and purity, and you want to simplify your life, then I can't recommend more investing in this company, because they do all the hard work of research, and they have been around for so long. Their legacy, they really are pioneers in the nutritional world. Science innovator, performance level quality. There's so many Olympic athletes that choose Shackley because they're safe. They're not going to have to worry about that. NASA. I mean, there's so many things that Shackley has done for so many different organizations and people over the last many decades. It really is a powerful company with a mission that really is designed and after helping people feel their best by taking care of the earth in the process. So it is our one-stop shop. I can't tell you how simple my life is in terms of thinking through all my wellness choices and purchases because of Shackley. So I'm so thankful to have it be so simple and to have it be my place to go for really anything I need for protein, supplements, skincare, cleaning. I mean, all of it. It's amazing. So the next couple slides we have here are going to be more info on our different nutrients and the supplements that we provide here with Shackley. But I did want to highlight, since we're talking specifically about hormones, and we won't go through every single one of these, but that menopause balance complex is really, really key for those of us maybe who are in that premenopausal or menopausal or even post and battling some hot flash stuff and all these things. That's a great place to start once you've kind of figured out some of your gut health and those things. But that's a great thing, a great product to start with. That's natural. It helps reduce hot flashes, night sweats, and helps your body think that there's still plenty of estrogen, which helps those things. So there's core energy is another thing. Vivix, the gentle sleep complex. We've talked about that stress relief on the top. That could also be a great place if you really do feel like you're in chronic stress mode. I think those top two could be a great place to start, obviously after the probiotic and that kind of stuff. So, and then the next ones are just, again, nutritionally, where do we start? A complete well-absorbed multivitamin, high potency like Shackley's Vitally or Vitalizer, or the Meology formulation that they'll go through that curates a specific needs you have for supplements, excuse me. Here's a few of the minerals in the multi and how important they are to keep the estrogen balance. So I won't go through all those, but that's kind of what's in these products. So, and then healthy, clean, and cooking, obviously, like Christine said, we're in the wellness business world. So of course we really try to eat clean and healthy, but believe me, I have so many little things I love to eat. I think, again, all things in moderation. I tell that to my students. I'm like, if you get hung up on saying no this, no that can lead to a lot of, you just want to have freedom in the things that we're eating. And the healthier you cook and eat, the healthier you'll feel, and you'll be drawn towards eating like that. So it becomes real natural and habitual. But this is a great little picture of kind of thinking through what your plate would look like, and trying to make sure those fatty acids are in there and that protein. That's going to be key in terms of balancing out some of our hormones and that kind of stuff. So, and then, once again, getting fit, regular exercise. We've talked about that. Christine is our our go-to exercise lifting guru. I don't know, you guys need to go follow her on Instagram and see the things that she does and the kind of weight she's lifting. It's amazing. But she's inspiring and has so many great tips in this part of the talk for sure. So.
Yeah. I mean, I would say if anything, it's finding something that you will stick with and not being afraid. I think I read something about courage. It's having the courage to know that you can do it, doing something that might seem hard, but just the confidence that comes from doing it. So whether you're just starting out on exercise, routine, or you're getting motivated back into it, but be stronger than your strongest excuse. You can do it. And I just tell people, find something you can be consistent. If you can move at least 4 days a week doing something, I would say, even if you can get, 2 days minimum of, whether it's, I would say sustained effort cardio. I'm walking, jogging, I'm on elliptical, I'm on a bike, I'm on some kind of treadmill, but also another day that I'm doing intervals. I'm going, 30 seconds fast as I can, 90 seconds, recovery, 30 seconds fast, 90 seconds recovery. So you're doing some things in that interval to really push your heart rate and really kind of build back some cardiovascular strength there. And lifting weights, again, it's imperative. If we have that visceral fat and adipose tissue and our body composition is not where it's at, we have got to lift weights. We have got to do strength training. That is a necessity, honestly. And I have this picture here for blood tests to, assess thyroid function, some things to look at. Maybe if you feel like I've just got some issues going on, I don't know what my hormone levels are, maybe my adrenals, or what is my vitamin D levels? I mean, that's a very good part of so many systems in our body needs vitamin D. Blood sugar, where am I at cholesterol wise? So if you haven't done a blood panel in a while, I would say do one and talk to your doctor, but ask for a full blood panel. And here's some things that you can ask for. And so with the recording, you can definitely pause and take a picture of this one. But again, going back to what we love of just getting people on a wellness track. Again, just some of the best next steps is logging your food. Maybe you have no idea how much protein that you're getting in, how much calories. If you're local, I take people to MyFitFoods, a place where they can step on an in-body scan and get an idea of your basal metabolic rate. Like, what calories does my physical body need to basically process all the processes that's going on in my body? Circulatory, my organs, what does my body need nutritionally to survive, even if I sat on the couch all day long? Understanding that many calories is important, because say you're eating deficit of that and you have been for far too long, then your body is in conservation mode. Your metabolism is really low and slow, and you probably need to eat more and eat more protein. So I always say food log. My fitness app is great. There's a free nutritional assessment that we love to walk clients through to get an idea on possibly supplementation, what is recommended based on where they're at. And then honestly, the Prove It Challenge, which I think is now called the Wellness, Ready, Set, Wellness. It's truly the best deal. If you were to order that and you haven't ever ordered that, or just ordering, for the first time, I think $150 order, you get a $50 coupon for August, the month of August. So it's a great jumpstart. Remember, free shipping, membership if you've never ordered any of these products. And like Shawna said, it's a simple one-stop shop I love. And we're here to schedule a call. If you know us, reach out to us, and whoever invited you, reach out to them. But in closing, I love that anything that we talk about, we've been using it for years. It's safe, it's proven, it's changed our health. I love that even a company like this guarantees no questions asked, a full refund if you don't like it or if something doesn't work for you. But some of our favorite starters are here as far as like hormonal wellness and some of the products that we did. But again, we love working with the team. We love hearing stories. We love being a part of people's stories and wellness. And honestly, this is the joy to do this as a business and do it with best friends and new friends. So if it's something you're considering, please talk to us. We always love having people join us. And then some of the things where people that I follow, some of the information, books and resources, there's a lot out there. So if you have more questions, let's chat. And we're going to stop the share so that we can see your faces and answer any questions and know that we kind of just tip the iceberg in some ways. So any questions or any thoughts from this?
I know there were a couple in the chat. So I don't know if you can read those, Christine.
Oh,
but
okay. I'm going to open it up right now. Okay. For people who aren't hungry in the morning, is there a way to turn on their appetite in the morning? Okay. So I think that is so interesting because I have a couple of those individuals in my household. And again, it's what am I eating in a given day? So I feel like it's good to understand if this person who is not hungry, how much calories is this person getting in a day? Because it just could be that their bodies are really slow metabolism because they're not fueling it enough. And they're kind of in starvation mode a little bit. So I would first want to find out, what is this person getting food wise? Say this person is a 150-pound female and she probably needs to get, let's say 1,500 calories, but maybe she's only eating 1,200 calories a day. So she's not eating enough. So most likely she's not hungry. When we work our muscles and metabolism, our muscles are hungry. Our metabolism is revved and we want to eat more. I should be famished. I should feel hungry because I'm moving my muscles. I'm burning my muscle. I'm kind of burning that metabolism and I want to eat. So that tells me that metabolism is really, really low and sluggish. Okay. What does the H stand for? So protein, healthy fat, fiber is what the H stands for. So the healthy fat. So not just fat, but like avocados and nuts and seeds and olive oil and, chia seeds, some of the healthy fats there. And testosterone, that's another good question. So testosterone, most likely, 90 probably percentile of us get lower in that hormonal testosterone as well. So that is something that we should check. And again, if as we age, our muscles decline, our T levels decline. Okay, so when we have higher estrogen, our hormones get out of whack, our T levels get declined as well. So protein is helpful for that in the amino acid profile, but also there might be some supplemental things, whether for some people, creams or different things like that, just to see if it's healthy and safe to try. I would say just check your levels. I just did a blood panel and my hormone levels, supposedly according to them, are fine. My labs are normal. I'm always curious what does normal mean? Is normal like I'm at the low end of it, or am I at optimal? And I'd rather be at optimal. So I would say find someone that gives you truly the details, not just like your labs are good. I want to know more about that. So testosterone is important. It's truly important. So check those levels because it really does affect our hormonal imbalances and, building that muscle, libido, and all of that.
Sorry, Christine, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. No, I did have my blood work done and the testosterone said I had none. So that's why and then she recommended DHEA. Is there anything in Shackley that can, like GLA? I'm like, I used to use that when I was pregnant, but would GLA be something that would help it? I don't know.
I don't think that necessarily would directly associate that, but you know what?
My doctor recommended DHEA. So
yeah,
which is because she's like, you really probably should have some testosterone. I was like, really?
Yeah. Well, it'd be interesting. What would you say your energy levels are like, or muscle definition is like, or,
good. I mean, I was in like low, but ever since I started taking the DHEA, it's been helping on the energy level and stuff. But
okay. Yeah. And that's a good question, because I feel like that would be great for Shackley. I'm going to do more research on that one and get back to me, because definitely I want to see that Shackley has something on that level. Again, to me, it's like when we do balance our cortisol and our hormone levels like that, some of those other ones come into play and there's not so much dominance that happens. Shawna, were you going to say something?
No, I was just kind of looking it up too, just to see.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thanks for looking it up.
Yeah. And how much protein do you feel like you get in a given day, LJ?
I'm more heavy on the protein because of I also had a scare of diabetes and my insulin. was goofy or whatever. And they ended up, I was able to change it. I went to a holistic doctor and got treated for it. And I started the glucose regulation complex, and I changed my numbers from 6 something to 5.5 or something. And she goes, I've never seen anybody do it like that fast.
Oh, that's amazing.
So I was really excited because I was able to get out of that red zone of diabetes with my blood sugar and all that. But I mean, I have to have a protein in the morning, and I have to have more of a heavier protein diet in order to keep that level.
To balance the blood sugar levels. You bet. And that to me is I feel like the number one thing that protein does is it helps balance our blood sugar levels. And really we need to have protein at every meal. Even the snacks.
I think that's like one of the myths out there right now. I think as you age, you don't think of that. You just think, I just got to cut down the calories. And I think that protein piece is a really missing link in so many people. And for whoever asked about how do you have an appetite in the morning, sometimes you just might have to start. You may not. I have a client who's the same, and she just kind of forces. She has the Life Shake every morning, has to kind of force it down, but she sees major changes within an hour of her energy. And your body is hungry. Like, even though you might not feel it, you're breaking a fast from not eating in so many hours. It needs to eat something. The Life Shake's a real simple, natural way to feel that, to feed that hunger without being like, so.
Yeah, exactly. And interesting too, like even breaking the fast with the Life Shake or something good protein balance profile is, it really will bring back our cortisol levels in the morning. So that helps balance blood sugar, but also even our stress hormones in some ways as well. And then we can go work out, or we can tackle the day. And then like 2.5 hours later, so eat again, like fuel our body again. So I think sometimes it's just writing down habits. If we're on the go and we're not really doing self-care and taking care of ourselves, we just will go hours and not eat or not hydrate, or we're not breathing. I love, Shawna, just the way of starting the morning off of just being grounded and heart, soul, mind, and taking in the day and being ready for the day. So really good stuff. Any other thoughts or questions before we end?
I was just going to say that sometime we did a hydrate thing the other day, and just sometimes when you're feeling hungry, drink water too. Right now with it being so hot and stuff. So
yeah, I think usually that's what I love too about the 7-day cleanse, is you find yourself drinking a ton of water and more water than you normally do, and realize, oh, on a given day, I don't drink enough water. So yeah, I try to drink like a full glass of water before I'm eating, trying to do it while I'm prepping meals, so that if I'm guzzling my Life Shake, then I'm thirsty. I needed to drink more water. I'm literally like guzzling it down. Very, very awesome. Good. Yeah.
Well, thank you, Shawna. Thank you, Christine, for letting us jump on board.
Yeah. Thank you, guys.
Appreciate it.
I am so glad you're here, and I'm going to stop the recording.